Welcome back to the Living Musically podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about the state of the podcast, how it started, and hopefully where it's going to go. Before we get there, I just want to say thank you. Yesterday, we hit our highest daily download ever, and I can't do that without you. So thank you for listening and thank you for sharing. Please continue to share and continue to listen. The story behind the podcast is this. Podcasting is something that I've always thought about doing and wanted to do, and I just never got around to doing it. Back in February, my job informed me that they were going to eliminate my position and that I would need to find somebody else before the end of May. And then the coronavirus happened. So shortly after they informed me that they were eliminating my position, I talked with a friend of mine about starting the podcast. And she said, "You have a really unique view on how music fits into daily life. And that's a story that you need to share." And that's how the podcast started. So we started uploading in March, and we have now, as of Tuesday, we'll have 8 episodes done. Another one's in the bag, and I've got a bunch lined up, ready to go, that just need to be recorded. So thank you again for listening, and thank you again for sharing. And I hope to grow with you and share my story in the future. I've always had an idea about how to record and get all that sort of stuff done. One of the things that I've never been very good at is the marketing side of things. So when the podcast first started, we had no website, there was no email address, there was no domain even for it. So since the podcast started back in March, I have now built a website. We also have an email list. We also have a YouTube page. We have a Twitter page. We're going to go through all of those one by one. So the first thing is there's a website. The website is the best place to go because it has everything. It's got the email list, it's got the YouTube links, it's got the Twitter links, all in one spot. All of those links are also in the show notes of every episode. So you can use the show notes to connect with us as well. So first, if you go to livingmusicallypodcast.com, you will find that there is an archive of all of the episodes. As the episodes come out on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m., they also go live on the website at the same time. You can consume the content there. You can also do it through your podcast of choice, whether it be Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google, whatever. All of those still exist. But if you have someone who's not a podcast person, you can now send them the website. They can access each individual episode. There's also a web page that has a playlist of all of the episodes that are live. Also on the website in the top right corner, there is an email list link. If you want to connect with us, and I encourage that you do, go to the email list and sign up. That way you can be notified by email of all of the new things that are happening. There's also a YouTube page. All of our episodes are tandemly uploaded at the same time to YouTube as well. So basically what happens is on Tuesday mornings, the podcast gets released to all of the podcast providers, uploaded to the website, and uploaded to YouTube all at the same time. So you have 3 different ways to consume the content, and you can get that YouTube link from the website as well. There's also a Twitter. I have a Twitter page as well. I will be honest with you. I am a social media recluse by choice. I find that it's very distracting, and I've had a lot of negative experiences with social media. I can't promise the Twitter stuff will be as up to date as the website or the email list or YouTube, but I'm going to do my best to get everything up there as well. And again, that link can be found on the website. So moving forward. So I have a couple things that I'd like to do moving forward. First off, longer episodes. Now that I have a little bit more time to devote to this, I see that these episodes are going to get longer and more informative. And I also hope that they become a little more natural. All of the episodes so far have been scripted and read, and I want to get away from that. It's too robotic for me. I want to talk more freely with all of you and have more of a, I guess, a monologue, even though almost like a dialogue, but more of a conversation. moving forward. The next thing that I want to have happen as well is interviews. I have a list of people that I have had planned on interviewing, and then the coronavirus happened, and trying to get together with people, it just hasn't happened. I know I can do it remotely, but I'm trying to keep the audio as good as I possibly can. So I think I'm going to start with a couple of my friends who happen to be recording engineers and or at least have their hand in recording and try and do things that way. If you are interested, and this is by no means, you don't have to do this. If you're interested, if you are a musician, or if you have ideas about how music fits in your life, you can certainly send me an email. It's info at livingmusicallypodcast.com. Just put in the subject line interview or something like that, just so I know that what you're looking for, and we can talk about it, and we can do a remote interview session and get that up on as a podcast episode. So that's where I think things are going. Again, thank you so much for sticking with us as we figure all of this out. I look forward to sharing my story with you in the future. I'll see you again next week. Peace.